everyone. Lovely to see so many people already joining us. I'm just going to give it a few minutes for everyone else to join in before I get started, but take in the scene, get ready for some pizza making this evening. I hope everyone's excited and ready to try out this recipe in the next few days. Hello to everyone who said hi. Lee, Made with Mama, Catalina, welcome. Let's just give it a little bit longer. Don't want anyone to miss any vital pizza information. Hi, Sue. While we're waiting, everyone, let me know what your favorite pizza topping is. And I can maybe give you a few tips to enhance that favorite pizza topping while I've got a little bit of time before we officially begin. Hello, Tanya. I hope you can all hear the music in the background. We chose a really lovely Italian playlist to accompany the pizza making. Just waiting for the go-ahead from Raquel. Okay, can I get started? Fabulous. Hello, everyone, and I'm so excited that you're here for our very first pizza party video. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to make the perfect pizza dough, the dreamiest tomato sauce, and what's the ideal cheese to use for that perfect margarita pizza. Now, for those of you who don't know, the reason that we're doing this exciting series of videos is because of our wonderful promotion, our pizza promotion that's going on at the moment for Pizza Perfection. And that includes these really cute oven gloves, Pizza Stone Paul, for those of you who don't know him, this is him, and our really handy Pizza Perfection booklet full of amazing recipes, lots of very chefy tips from me about how to take your pizza to the next level. So if you haven't looked into that promotion yet, I highly suggest it. Right, getting straight into it. So you might think, how complicated can making a perfect pizza dough be? You whack everything in your Thermomix and you're good to go. And that's absolutely true. It's one of the beautiful things about Thermomix is that you can make something like a dough and it kneads it for you, and all you have to do is pop it into a bowl, roll it out, and use it. But there are ways to make something, let's say, even more perfect than it is in its original form. When it comes to dough, the key thing is to use strong bread flour. You might be tempted, oh, I've got plain flour in the cupboard, I'll just use that. Don't fall into that trap. Strong bread flour is made with harder wheat varieties, and this means it's got more gluten in it, so you get that lovely elasticity in your dough. So when you go to a really fancy or your local Italian restaurant and they've got their pizza oven in the corner and they're stretching the dough and throwing it in the air, the reason they're able to do that without the dough tearing is because they've used strong bread flour and made a really elastic dough. So strong bread flour going straight into our Thermomix. This is just the basic, oh, flour everywhere. This is just the basic pizza dough recipe on Cookidoo for those of you who want to get the exact amounts. Room temperature water, again, very important because this is what's going to get your dough to rise really lovely and fluffy. So actually, let's first heat up our dough, our yeast, because a warm yeast water mixture is what will give you a really light, fluffy, warm dough. So 220 grams of room temperature water going in, followed by 2 teaspoons of fast action dry yeast and a teaspoon. And what this does, the sugar is almost like a little snack for your yeast to get it going. It wakes it up, it gets its appetite alive to start eating into your dough and making a lovely stretchy crust. So get your sugar in there. And then very simply, you're just going to mix this up for 20 seconds at speed 2. Oh, not yet. 20 seconds, speed 2. And our other ingredients for the dough, very simple. Coarse sea salt, extra virgin olive oil. It's really worthwhile using a good olive oil for this because you actually want the flavor of the oil to come out. It's not just like a basic neutral cooking oil in this case. So that's mixing up together. We've got our flour ready in our other bowl. And then we're going to get onto the sauce as soon as this is done. So because obviously this will have a rising time, I've made another batch of dough earlier, which is what we're going to use for our actual pizza. And I'm going to show you how I do a pizza base with no rolling pin, no floured surface, no mess in sight. So flour going in, There we go. And tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And then I think it says a teaspoon of salt, just generously. I think a lot of people think that your pizza base is just a bit of nothing on which to build your toppings, but the pizza base is a star in its own right. It has to have flavor and texture and be enjoyable even just as it is. That's the beauty of garlic bread, isn't it? The dough coming out, shining with lovely garlic and butter. Nothing is better. So everything in there, and we're now going to do our wonderful dough mode for 2 minutes. And meanwhile, we're going to get started with the dough that I made earlier. And here it is. So, beautiful, pillowy, soft dough. You want it to double in size, so leave it to rise for at least an hour in a lovely warm place, and that's how you'll get this beautiful pillowy dough. It needs to be literally like squeezing a fluffy cloud. So, pizza dough straight onto my pizza stone. Tip number 1. Minimizing any mess, no floured surfaces, and this is where you need to channel your inner confident Italian man at your local pizzeria. You're just going to hand stretch. It might seem like, oh, it's not going to be a perfect circle. Good. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. That's how you get those lovely chewy bits of crust and some crunchy bits of crust. This is the process. So once it starts to become a little bit unwieldy to handle in the air, we're not going to toss it into the sky today, maybe next time. But today we're just going to hand stretch it on our pizza stone. Make sure you do leave some thicker bits of crust and some thinner bits. I hope this isn't too noisy. It's doing all the hard work for us, so we have to forgive it. So there we go. Now you can see, well, maybe you can't. I think you can. It's lovely and thin, but I have left a really pillowy crust. So we can set that aside for just a minute. And this is just about done. So I'm going to start gathering together my sauce ingredients.
So Jules, while you're doing that,
yeah,
we can run through some of the favorites.
Yes, tell me.
We have a few controversial ones here, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, don't tell me pineapple. I don't want to hear about pineapple. Oh, no.
We have pear, gorgonzola, rocket, and chili, which I think is delicious. We have bacon, blue cheese, which I think is
delicious.
As well.
That's very nice.
We have, now, this is the most controversial one that I particularly have seen, but we have bacon, garlic, and now wait for it.
Is it banana?
Banana.
Oh, no. No, I've also met one of these in my lifetime, someone who wanted to put banana on a pizza. Do you know what? To each their own. It's not going to appear in my pizza restaurant of the future, but, you know, I hope that you, do you know what? Actually, I've just realized this is a really clever way to make sure no one tries to steal any of your pizza. You're not going to have to share with anyone if you've got banana on there, are you? So kudos to you. Clever plan. So there is our dough, beautifully kneaded. That's going to go into our oiled bowl to be rolled out, well, stretched out by hand later on. And we can move straight onto the perfect pizza sauce. So mixing bowl. Mine's got a little bit of flour in it, not the end of the world. Popping that into our machine. And then I do need a mixing bowl lid though. Nikki, could you get me a measuring cup lid, please? Okay. Oh, I found one. Never mind. Right. Sauce, tomato sauce. Please don't go and buy it in a tin or in a carton. Of course, if time is short and you need to make pizza, you know, the here and now and all you've got is your tin variety in the cupboard, fine, fair enough. But if you have a little bit of time, it's a lazy Sunday afternoon, get yourself some lovely fresh plum tomatoes. And I would say, you know what, try do this in summer because that's really only when you get properly ripe plum tomatoes with real flavor. If you can get them from somewhere like Spain or Italy, even better. But as long as they're ripe and they should smell fragrant, that's how you know that you've got a really good ripe tomato. You're good to go. So that's the first hint I can give you. Use fresh tomatoes, but tinned will do in a pinch. Tinned chopped tomatoes does work very well. So we're going in with 120 grams of onion, first and foremost. This is the base for our sauce. And a clove of garlic and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Again, worthwhile to use very good oil here to actually bring some flavor into your sauce. And we're just going to pop a lid on and blitz those up for 5 seconds at speed 5. Sorry, it'll be a bit loud. Okay, and then we're going to go in with our tomatoes. Now, if you're using tin tomatoes, you don't need to chop them, of course, but because we're using fresh, they're going straight in. And we're going to blitz those up again for 5 seconds at speed 5. And then we're going to saute for 20 minutes at speed 2, 100 degrees. And when it comes to flavoring your tomato sauce, nothing is better than fresh basil. But because I'm putting fresh basil on the finished pizza, I've decided to use oregano in this case. So I'm going in with a very healthy pinch of sea salt, a teaspoon of sugar. Sugar balances the natural acidity of tomatoes so that you don't get a kind of sour tomato sauce. It really rounds out the flavor, so don't skip the sugar. Nice teaspoon of pepper, healthy teaspoon, let's say. And then I'm doing really good quality dried oregano, or of course you could use fresh. You could use rosemary, any herbs that you prefer. So then that's going to go on to cook for 20 minutes. But again, here's one I made earlier. It just smells like Italy. And mozzarella cheese. So everyone has their own preferences about cheese for pizza. Some people like a mixture of cheddar and mozzarella. I prefer really good quality buffalo mozzarella, mozzarella di bufala, or you could just use the normal mozzarella balls that you can get in most supermarkets. Going on with our sauce. Another thing to keep in mind is to avoid a soggy bottom on your pizza. Don't overdo it with the sauce. A little bit goes a long way. You should still be able to see the base of your pizza through the sauce. That's how you know that you've got a good amount. And just use the back of a spoon to spread it on nice and evenly like I'm doing now. There you go. Yep, you can see it. So I can still very clearly see the base of my pizza through. Getting my lovely ball of mozzarella. If you are using a ball of mozzarella like this, or especially mozzarella di bufala, be sure to drain it in a sieve over a bowl for at least 20 minutes before, or otherwise all the liquid will go out into your pizza, and again, soggy bottom. So lovely big chunks of mozzarella going on there because they will melt into these beautiful, luxurious, cheesy puddles. That's the dream. I could honestly eat this ball of mozzarella just as is. Yeah, we are a very cheesy Thermomix family here. We could all eat all of the cheese. So there we go. Finishing off with a little bit more black pepper and going into the oven for 20 minutes at 220 degrees.
So Jules, we've got one person saying, well said, Jules, no pineapple or banana on the pizza.
Thank you for your solidarity. Nikki, where's my pizza that I made earlier? So this pizza's been in the oven while we've been chatting, and it is smelling delightful. Might not eat some on camera because I don't actually have my handy pizza cutter with me. And by the way, you do get a really lovely pizza cutter in the pizza promotion kit. Another reason to get into that. Oh my word, look at this.
Right.
You tilt it up so they can see it.
There we go, guys.
The dream.
It is very warm, so be careful. But
It
smells delicious.
Nothing better with a beautiful margarita than some fresh basil leaves and a drizzle of olive oil. There we go. I can't hold this and tilt it up because it is way too hot, but I'm sure even through your screens, I'm sure you can imagine how good this smells. There we go. That's it for this evening, everyone. I hope you're all joining in tomorrow for our dessert pizza. I've designed a really delicious dessert pizza just for this video. So I hope you'll join along again at 7 p.m. tomorrow. I'm just checking if I have time for some questions. Do I? Yeah? Does anyone have any pizza questions they want to put out to me before we finish up for the evening?
I think we have a lot of people saying that they wouldn't share that. So
I'm going to have to share it with Raquel and Nikki because they've stayed here to film this for me. So
yes, you will.
I don't have a choice, but I wouldn't share it if I had a choice. Dessert pizza, Sue. You can't knock it until you've tried it. It's like, I had similar feelings, but once you make your own Nutella in your Thermomix and slather that on to a dessert pizza base, toasted marshmallows, bits of fresh strawberry, crumbled up digestive biscuits, it's divine. You'll have to watch tomorrow and see. Okay, well, that's it for this evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you've been inspired to make some lovely pizzas. Thank you and good night.